muted.
He is computer technology guru, Brendan Chella. Hey, Brendan.
Oh, you're keeping the video on. Okay, never mind. Okay, I thought it was still muted, but
Yeah,
yes.
we got
Here.
what they see is your presentation.
I see. Yeah. I think they should be able to hear me at this
Yeah.
point. Okay, cool.
And then the other red is recording. What they're seeing is that and not.
Yep. Good.
All right.
We'll just shove it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So today's class is about your phone storage. I'll preface this because I'm going to be using her as an example throughout this lesson. This was inspired by my mom. There's a very specific reason as to why. You'll learn throughout. So the first thing is got to know how much space you have on your device to begin with. So this is the hard space directly on your device. So what's inside your phone right now? This has nothing to do with cloud storage, as I'll reiterate throughout the rest of the class and a few other slides. This is just the hard space on your phone. So couple storage examples, because I didn't want to list every single device that's out there. I just took the two most popular. So iPhone 17 can range from 250 gigabytes to about 2 terabytes. So that's 2,000 gigabytes there. Samsung Galaxy can go from 128 to about 1 terabyte. Cheaper phones, does anyone not have one of these items? So about sizable portion. So if you have a cheaper phone that's not one of these two, you're more than likely going to have less space than that. I helped a patron yesterday whose max space on her phone was 50 gigabytes. Yeah, that caused a lot of problems. I'm using her as an example in the lesson now too. So where do you go to find what your current storage information is? So for those with an iPhone, we're going to skip the word lesson. So you go to setting. Yes.
I have a lower version of iPhone than 17. Is it similar?
Can't say. I only own a 16 and it's pretty much the same, but I can't tell you either one.
Okay.
And thank you for doing that. Also, because this class is so large and the class can potentially be so long, please hold your questions until I open it. So you go to your settings app, go to general, you go to about. Yep. So again, you go to your settings app on your phone. Can't tell you where that exactly is because if I go through everybody's phone, we're going to be tediously here for a while. So look for your gear symbol. Look for the word general. Then look for the word about. And then you will see two words. You will see capacity and available. Capacity tells you how much space your phone can max have. So in this case, my phone had a capacity of 128 gigabytes. That's as much space as it can handle. And below that shows what I have available, which is just about 60 gigabytes. So that's pretty simple. If you just want to quickly know what the information is, that's the route you go. But if you want the detailed option, so you get to see exactly what's taking up your space instead of just seeing the number, you do settings. And instead of clicking, and you click on general still, but instead of clicking about, you click iPhone storage. And what that will do is tell you exactly what is taking up your space. So in my case, just because it's probably too light. You can see that the red marker takes up a pretty sizable part of my storage, and that is applications or apps. So if you kind of want to know those details, this is the route you would go for that. Now for Android, I can show you an example here. Problem with Androids, if you've been in any of my other classes, is unlike Apple devices, Androids can just be wildly different where everything is located. So this is the example I have to work off of. So you find your settings app. So it's kind of the same deal. And at least on this device, there is a section straight up called storage. If you don't have that, it might be under the words device care. That's it.
Got it.
Yep. And this should look pretty similar to what's in device care too. You'll have a section in device care, I believe, called storage, so it should show the same thing. But you can see on this device, 18 gigabytes of 32 gigabytes have been used. So this is a very small, it's a very cheap tablet that I had access to. So almost half my space was already used up already. So, and then you can see a detailed breakdown of what's taking up that space. So 8 gigabytes of the 18 is done by apps. System is taking up another 8. So that gives you an idea again on your Android, what is taking up your space. So any questions on that?
So is it just the fact that you have downloaded the app and the app itself is taking up this storage?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll see that more detailed later. I go over that later. So, oh, yes.
Sorry. Is there a way to make you know how your storage goes up and down? I mean, like from the cloud?
That has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Cloud has nothing to do with this lesson whatsoever. Yes.
When I delete an app, exit out,
Yeah.
does it automatically come off storage or is it still in there somewhere?
Hold that till we get to the app section, because I go over that.
Are these the only two choices?
Yep.
Systems and.
No. That just happens to be what is visible. Yep. I cut it off because I'm not going to show you absolutely everything, because that list would be very minuscule at that point. So that just happens to be what's in the picture. Yeah.
Will also apply to an iPad.
Yep. I just go over the phone because that was what my mom dealt with. So what takes up storage in the first place? So there are two types of items, stuff you can control and stuff you cannot. So what stuff can you control from going onto your device? These are items you do not have to keep on your device at all. As weirdly as this sounds, you do not have to take pictures. You do not have to take videos. You don't have to add new apps. You don't have to text. Does anyone follow those rules at all? Nope. But technically, you don't have to do any of this. But you have control over the fact whether you take 20 pictures of, I don't know, a bug sitting on your window. You don't have to do that. You don't have to keep them on your phone. But there is also stuff that you cannot control. These are things that you have to keep on your device, such as your operating system, system updates, native apps, which are apps that are just already installed on your phone and you can't delete, and installed app updates. So if you're using things all the time, like let's just say Google Maps, Gmail, that you're never going to delete them in the first place, well, now you have to deal with all of the, sorry, now I got to watch Top Gun when I go home. Sorry, I got distracted. These are the updates that come along with those apps. So any questions on those? Yes.
So you're saying every time you get an update, it takes up more space?
Yeah.
And the old update is
Wait till I show you the app stuff. I give you the numbers on like what's happened with some of my apps over the years. You'll see how bad it gets. It's pretty bad. Yes.
The native apps, you said you can't delete them?
Most of them, yes. You cannot delete them. You and then you.
I would just say, did you play repeat somebody's question? Because between the music and the.
Oh, is the door not shut?
It is shut.
Oh, damn.
It's hard to hear the question.
Okay. So, I'll try to do that in the future. Yep. Yes.
I'll do videos of my grandson in Denver. He plays electronic music and he's with the audience. Can I take that video, one video?
Nope.
And then print it somewhere? I print it on with.
We're gonna go over that later. Now, the long game. So this kind of plays into what you just said. So when systems and apps get updated, they will just keep taking up more and more space over time. So that phone that you just got yesterday might not be dealing with any storage issues now, but over time, you'll get system updates that will just keep eating up more and more space, or the apps you are using will continue to eat up more and more space. So just simply owning a device for years is going to cause you storage problems. So actually, I think we're going over that section I mentioned actually right now. So a good example would be an app that you just installed might be 50 megabytes right now, which in the grand scheme of things is absolutely nothing. But then 5 years later, that same app might take up a full gigabyte worth of space. So you have to be aware that situations like that are going to be happening. So we're going to go over some file size examples just to give you an idea of what things take up on your device. So a couple examples of photos and videos. So this is a 14-second video of my parents' dog wrecking a plastic pool. They bought one immediately after he destroyed it and it leaked all over the patio. But that 14-second video takes up 14 megabytes, which, again, grand scheme of things, not bad, but a normal photo takes up 3. So one 14-second video takes up the same space as about 5 photos. I have a 52-second video of just touring around my man cave in my basement. That's 52 seconds. That takes up 114 megabytes. So that gives you another idea. It's not even a minute long, and it takes up 114 megabytes. So this is just a basic photo of my parents' dog. That takes up about 2.3 megabytes. Usually, most of the photos I see, it's about 3. It's around this range, 2 to 3 megabytes.
If somebody sends me a video,
Hold it. I already know where you're going. Hold it.
Am I charged for that?
Yeah.
Now, apps. Here's the example that I kind of mentioned. I might show. So the number. These are just basic apps that most people have heard of or have on their phone. The number on the left is what it would be to just go to the App Store right now and install it. The number on the right is what it's picking up on my phone right now. So the big one on here is Facebook. To install Facebook on your phone right now is about 360 megabytes. Grand scheme of things, not awful, but it takes up almost 5 gigabytes on my phone. That one app is taking up 5 gigs. Twitter is actually worse for me. It takes up actually a couple more gigabytes than that. So 2 apps are taking up a pretty sizable chunk of my phone. Google Maps does the same thing, albeit not as dramatic, but it still went from like about 330 megabytes to 1 full gigabyte. Some like Amazon and Chrome, which a lot of people use, and they update those apps all the time, they didn't necessarily go up by all that much. Funny thing is, Uber actually went down. No idea why. I couldn't figure out why. It was a new screen, new icon, some new features, and it took up less space. And then YouTube kind of does the same big jump that Facebook does. It went from 300, about 330 to about 2.5 gigabytes. So again, the more you use apps, the bigger they are going to get over time. Now, yes.
Can you delete the app and then reinstall?
Hold it.
it?
Again, I don't want to skip ahead. And
No,
it's just-
fine. I figured you got it, but.
Yeah. Now, an operating system. So on an Android phone, does anyone know what your operating system is? It's a trick question.
It's your operating system.
It's Android. Android's the operating system. On Apple, it's called iOS. So, nope, I pressed the button too hard. So the example I give, this is my phone. So the latest iOS version, when I took this picture, and took this image, it was taking up about 20.5 gigabytes off my phone. If you remember, my phone's storage capacity was about 130. So pretty much about 20% of that phone's storage is just toast. Can't do anything about it. Basically, you take the phone out of the box, 20 gigabytes is gone. And you can't do anything about it. You can't erase it. You can't go back to a previous one. Once it's installed, space is eaten up. I learned this lesson the hard way at a library I worked at, where it wasn't phones, but it was tablets. So somebody, the person that was there before me, bought a bunch of tablets, never put them out to the public, just kept them in the boxes. And it was for a couple of years. So I took them out of the box, got them all updated, ready to go out to the public. I had a whole list of stuff that I wanted to install on it. All the operating systems took up so much space that I could barely put anything on them. Yeah. Kind of sucked, but I learned my lesson from that. So want to pay attention to your operating system a lot. Now, that is going to affect, now for those that have really low phone storage to begin with, this is something to like really pay attention to, because you might not have any extra, like the person I helped yesterday, I was going to use her. She had about 40 gigabyte capacity on her phone, but almost 20 of it was taken up by just her operating system. So she was very handicapped when it came to trying to do different things on her phone because of that. Now, does anyone know what live photos are?
Yeah.
Okay, some of you. So live photos are photos that become very short videos when pressed. So I have a few, like I took my son to his first major league game on Saturday, and my wife took a picture of us in front of the scoreboard. And when I press on the photo, you can hear me say out his name so that he looks at the camera and he turns his head with it. Versus if I just took a regular photo, it's just going to be me, him, and my wife smiling. It's usually nothing more than a couple seconds. Like you're not recording a 15-second live photo. It might be a couple seconds. Now, the problem with these is they take up a lot more space. They take up more space than a regular photo. So if you compared side by side the same images, the live photo is going to take up more. Why is that a particular problem? Because iPhones and Androids have easily tappable icons on the cameras that you can accidentally click on frequently. So you might just be wanting to take a regular photo, but now you're taking a live photo.
Thank you for explaining why my picture's fine.
Yep, that's it. So on iPhone cameras, this is going to be identified by the word live. And on Android cameras, at least the examples I've seen, it's called motion. And these are going to be the icons. So this is a picture from an iPhone with the live thing off. If it is on, it's going to be yellow and not have a slash line through it. On Androids, the one I had access to, this is what the motion live button looks like. Might be different on yours. You just have to experiment and find out which one doesn't.
So if you tap a picture and it doesn't move, then you know it's not.
Correct.
Okay.
And it usually will identify, like I know something is live on my phone because it will have the little icon when I open it.
So Brendan, this says it happens accidentally frequently.
Yes.
Is that because the button is very close to where you would snap the picture?
No, it's at like the top of the screen.
So it's not really near where you're taking the picture?
No, but it happens very frequently. To just tell you that way, it happens all the time. Just people accidentally are just flicking around the camera
Got it.
and just that's what happens with my mom. She just is handling around the phone. She clicks the live button and doesn't realize it.
Does it stay on or is it only good for that photo?
It stays on.
Okay.
If you turn the live off on your phone, it should not make that movement.
Don't know. Never done it. Yes.
It's like, just a picture live, and I think birds photos and there's afterwards.
No. You'd have to screenshot it. But I'm not doing that today. It's not going to be a lesson today.
Is there a way to turn it off?
Don't know. I think she mentioned, like, if you go into settings, you can turn it off, but I don't know where that is. I don't have a lesson on it, so I'm not
Under
going to.
camera indicators.
What's the difference between a live photo and a camera?
A video is a full length. Not really an easy way to explain it. A live photo is only going to be like a 3-second clip.
Okay.
A video is
Yes.
full video.
So 3-second is about the max.
I would say about that.
That's good. Thank you.
Now, text storage. So messages will take up space on your device. And again, just like app storage, the longer you keep the text, the more it's going to build up over time. So all those attachments, all those photos, all those videos you've been sent by your friends and text messages you haven't deleted are still on your device. This was one of my mom's bigger problems. She doesn't delete her text messages.
May I just,
Yes.
you could be my son picking on me right now.
Well, she knows I do this.
Oh, yeah,
And she's had her friends tell her that who've secretly been in some of my classes that I don't know them. Tell her.
I'll have an issue. I'll have an issue. He says, Mom, well, you pressed 5 buttons to make that happen. I said, I did not press 5 buttons. He's like, you did. It didn't do it itself. The phone never does it itself.
Now, this is going to be, again, especially problematic if you don't delete anything. So, like, for example, get to you in a minute, man. For example, if I have a 5-year-long text message string with my mom, all those photos and all those videos we have sent back and forth are now being stored in the text message, which is being stored on your phone. You first, ma'am?
Why, when I have messages, I delete them right away when I'm done with them. My 3 daughters get mad at me, why do you do that, Mom? They don't want me to delete the messages. Because they're whack.
I can't tell you either way. It's your decision whether to delete them or not.
Well,
But what I'm telling you, at least to keep on task. It's if you're worried about the storage problem, then you have to consider it. So I saw someone over here first, then you.
You get an attachment to a text, like say a picture, and you download it. And then you want to delete the text, is the picture still in there? In your gallery or whatever, or when you delete it?
Hold it for that slide.
I'm holding to the next slide.
like when when someone texts you and there's like an attachment or pictures, can you like, the message doesn't take up as much room as like the picture and the attachments, right? You could just go on and like delete this.
Hold that. Oh, sorry to say, hold that. So a lot of the questions I'm getting are literally, we have slides. I do have slides on them, so I won't necessarily need to repeat the questions. We'll eventually we'll be getting to everybody's search.
Once you delete a text, how do you get it out of the trash? Does the trash automatically get it out of the system?
Trash automatically, at least with an iPhone, it automatically does it, but you can delete it faster. Instead of just letting it sit there.
All right, I have an Android though. Is there a way to get to the trash bin to get rid of it, or no, it's just automatically?
I would have to look at your phone. I don't know because I've never owned an Android and don't have any personal ownage of Android in my family, so I can't tell you either.
Android question again. If you delete a text, is it really gone?
It goes into it. If it's like an iPhone, it goes into a trash bin and then you can remove it. It will automatically delete, or you can go delete it yourself to have it disappear.
Restore it.
Huh?
You restore it.
Yep.
Because I was listening to you and touching my phone and I just deleted it.
When you put things in the trash, does it automatically restore the space?
Not really. It's still kind of hanging around there.
So when you free it up, then
You empty the trash. Hate to say it that way. You just delete the trash.
and then it's the space is right there.
Yep.
Emojis, do they take up more space in text messaging, or is it?
Don't know. That's a little more complex than I wanted to get here. Sorry about that. Nobody ever asked me about that. They asked about photos, videos, texts, not necessarily emojis.
We can make an appointment at libraries with tech specialists.
Hold to the last slide.
I'm giving them a preview.
So now imagine you have, because again, if you're like my mom, you probably have a lot of text messages just sitting on your phone. You don't just have one or two, you probably have dozens of them. Imagine years worth of that stuff just sitting there. That's just building up, taking up more and more space. And again, I think somebody asked me about this earlier. That's a lot of storage space going to things that are also likely going to be duplicates. Because what do most people do, at least when I get a video or get a photo, I'll download it to my device and then delete the text message. So instead of keeping duplicates, I just have the one item saved on my phone. So those are the items of concern that you want to be aware of that will take up storage space. So, spacing issues. So there are two big ones to pay attention to. And this is again, my mom's influence came in around here. So, if some of you know, I had a son back in July. My mom, it was her first grandkid, so we anticipated, okay, you're going to be taking a ton of photos and videos. Let's check up on your phone. And then this is what inspired the following couple slides, and then the rest of the class spun off from there. So what happens if you are running out of space on your phone? You're not going to be able to receive new updates. You're not going to be able to record new videos. You are not going to be able to take new photos. And you can't install new apps. The other issue of concern is, can your phone handle big events? So does anybody have a big event coming up at all? Anybody going on a trip? Wedding? Okay, we got a few. Well, at least you could probably guess which one I had to deal with. So when we knew my mom was having her first grandkid, we knew she was going to be doing a lot of stuff with the phone. And we realized her phone is not going to be able to handle all the stuff that she's going to want to do. She's not going to be able to take videos. She's not going to be able to take photos. So we had to go through and figure out, how am I going to clear space? So any questions on those the two previous slides at all? Yep. Yes. I thought I saw someone raise my hand. So this is probably what everybody's here for. So what you don't want to do is just dive in and just start willy-nilly deleting everything off your phone. You want to have a plan of attack going in. So first thing, and this seems to be the problem that a lot of people your age have. I hate to stereotype. You have to be willing to delete stuff. If you want space on your device, you have to be willing to remove stuff in order to make that happen. Good example, you do not need to have 7 copies of the same exact picture on your device. You can delete the other 6 safely and still have the original. We found out that was one of the bigger parts of my mom's storage issue. She was very rough with taking photos, so she'll take like 6 shots of the same thing and just leave them there. You just need one of them. You don't need to have your phone take up. You don't need 7 copies of the same thing. You also, again, do not just want to dive in because you might accidentally delete something you need or something you want to keep. I've made that mistake before where I started deleting photos and accidentally deleted a photo of my old dog that I really liked. And it was just gone. Now, this is probably the most important slide of the whole lesson. So, has anyone ever done a deep dive of deleting stuff off their phone? Hey, okay, some of us, good chunk of us, good. So, first thing you want to do, for those that have never done anything like this, what you want to probably do is decide what is the stuff that I can easily get rid of right now, where I don't have to give too much thought about it. So things like deleting duplicate photos, deleting apps that I don't use at all. And then once you kind of get the fluff out of the way, you have to see how much space do I have left. Does that work for me? If I deleted, 20 gigabytes worth of photos, videos, and apps off my phone, is that sufficient for me? No, I need 40 gigabytes. So then I have to then begin to delete even more stuff. I have to go into a deeper dive of removing things. The problem is, for those that have never done it, it is very time consuming. This is especially true for those that have a ton of photos and videos on their phone. Like person I helped yesterday had, I think it was like 100,000 photos. So that is going to take some time.
Can't you just dump it on a photo stick to get it off the phone?
Hold that thought. See, I covered a lot of this stuff from the last couple times I've taught it. Literally, you're asking the same questions everybody else has asked. So, this is especially, again, true if you're evaluating photos and videos. So, now that you sort of know what you need to do, what's the next steps? So, I'm going to give you the things that aren't. Oh, well, that's what I get for trying to talk at the same time. I'm going to give you things. Huh?
You need more water.
No, I'm good. I just burped at the same time I was talking. It just was weird. So, what is not going to help you? I mentioned this, I think, a couple times. Clearing the cloud is going to do absolutely nothing for you. Because anything that's saved in the cloud does not take up space on your device because it is all online. So if you're saving something to Google Photos, for example, it's not being saved to your phone. It is being saved on a Google computer somewhere in the world that you can access with an internet connection and your login. It is not on your phone. Clearing emails are a very similar thing. Emails take up no space on your phone at all. You can have, I helped someone, they had 250,000 emails on their Gmail account. Guess what? It did not take up any space on their phone because it's all on some Google computer somewhere. The only space email takes up is the app that you're using. So if you're using Gmail, for example, that's all the space on your phone that is being taken up by your email service.
Doesn't Google only give you, without paying for extra, so many, like 15
Yep.
gigabytes? Yeah.
Yep. You only get so much.
And then you get the prompt, want to delete some pictures.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's why I'm here, because I know I realize it's that issue. I get the prompt and it tells me what to delete. And it says you got this. I delete that and it gets rid of essentially nothing. So what do you know how to clear that? Google, what is it storing this that I'm not aware of?
Gmail, Google Photos, and Google Drive. Those are the three things that take it up.
Which I have literally nothing in. And it still says I've used up 13 of 15.
Yep, you have to double check that.
Okay,
That's what it is.
I'm
I
trying
had
to find somebody that can help.
the person I helped yesterday said the same thing. We looked at their account, and guess what?
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll meet you later.
I won't have too much long. I have to
I
go
know.
pick up my son.
Real quick, when you take a picture on your phone, it's in Google, right?
Not necessarily, no.
I noticed that my photos, some of them are in Google and some of them are in the cloud.
Hold that thought. That's actually the next set. That's going to be a couple slides from now.
That's confusing. All right.
So, yep. So, clearing albums are going to do nothing. So, albums in your photo and video apps are more or less filters. They aren't creating additional copies of those photos on your device. So, the photo I took of me, my wife, and my son at the baseball game last weekend, there's only one copy of it on my phone, even though I can see it in my main folder. I can see it in my folder called Little Dude, and I can see it in my folder called Cleveland, because I put it there because we were in Cleveland. There's only one only one copy is taking up space on your device. So deleting an album or deleting the image that's appearing in an album is not going to do anything for you.
If you delete the photo and it's in an album, does it delete it and take it out of both places? If I do?
Yeah. If you delete it from the album, it's only removing the sort of the filtered version.
If it's in an album and you think, oh, it's in the album, and you delete the photo, you just zapped both of them.
Yep. But it doesn't take up, there's no duplication with that. It's just filtering. So now we're going to get to the fun stuff. Actually removing things. So the first ones we're going to go over are photos and videos. So a lot of this is going to be worded instruction. So apologize for that. But what you want to do is go to your photo and video storage app on your device. For Apple, it's called Photos. For Androids, it's typically Gallery or Google Photos. Some phones have different ones, but those are the two most common. Once you're in there, you can do one of two things. You can just open an individual item and delete it from there, or you can select multiple items and do a bulk deletion. So the benefit of doing individual items is it allows closer inspection of each item. So if you're a big stickler for, okay, I don't want to accidentally delete something I want, you might want to take the time to go through all your photos and make sure, especially if you have maybe a lot of photos that might look the same. So they're not necessarily duplicates, but they look pretty similar. You'll want to go through them individually. The problem with that, it is a lot slower than bulk. So I mentioned the example of the patron I helped yesterday, 100,000 plus photos. So if you're really trying to do a big evaluation of your storage, are you really going to go through all 100,000 individual photos? Probably not. Now, bulk deleting is the exact opposite. This allows you to delete things much faster than deleting one items at a time, because you're selecting multiple items all at once versus, all right, click on this one, trash can, slide over, trash can. This allows you to just select more items on screen at once. The problem with this is you don't necessarily get great detail on the items you are deleting, because if you ever look inside an album on a phone, they're little thumbnail shots. Now, for me, that works. I usually can see the detail that I want, but some people might not be able to notice differences in photos or wants to be able to see it on a bigger screen. So that's not necessarily a good way for some. So I'm going to show you an example from my Apple phone. So I open Photos. So then I'm just looking at individual photos on my device, and I decide I want to delete this particular item. So then I click on that, and there's a trash bin icon. That deletes the photo. Or if I want to delete more than that one, I can do select. And instead of clicking on the individual photo and getting it blown up on screen, I just check mark all of these items, and I can delete 8 at once instead of just going one at a time. So any questions on deleting photos and videos? The process works pretty similarly to, this process is going to work pretty similarly to an Android device as well.
You said you were gonna show us how to empty trash eventually?
Huh?
You said you were gonna show us to empty trash eventually, like we want to instantaneous. empty
Not
trash?
necessarily, I don't show that.
Oh. Can you tell us?
I can't show it today. I'm going to have to skip it over, and I will have to add it to future class. But the problem is I don't have access to a trash bin on my Android device. So I can't
I
necessarily.
was thinking iPhone, sorry.
Nope.
I have a question.
Because I did that, because this isn't necessarily a lesson on photos. I go over that in my photos class.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, I go over that there, not here, because it's going to add a bunch more slides that I can't. I'm already at a pretty long lesson as it is.
Quick question.
Yep.
So deleting on the Android and going to the gallery, what is the difference between gallery and photos?
There is none. Photos is Apple Photos. On Androids, it's just called Gallery. Why they have it differently?
Within my Android device, if I want to attach a photo, sometimes it's not in photos, it's only in gallery. That's a technical phone issue that I should just ask.
Nope. That it's probably connected to Google. I'm assuming it'll probably need Google Photos. I can look at your phone after. I unfortunately can't.
That's right. Thank you.
So, deleting apps. Oh, actually, I have to update this. So, deleting apps on an Apple device is you press and hold the app until it wiggles. Then you'll either get an X or a little dash line, just depending on how old your iPhone is. And then you click delete. So I pressed and held on this app for a little bit. Little X popped up. Press that. Goes off of my device. Androids are a little different. Not as, I would say, not as smooth. You have to press and hold on the app. And you will either get a pop-up menu or you drag the app to the top of your screen. So I don't have the option to show you option A, but option B is I am pressing down on a particular app. And what I am about to do is drag it to the top of the screen. And I get two options at the top: remove and uninstall. Uninstall is the option you want to use because that will completely remove it from your device. If you do remove, it removes the app from the screen, but it leaves it installed. So basically, it's like tossing something in the attic. It's still taking up, you removed it out of sight, but it's still technically taking up space. Now, deleting text messages.
Can I ask one?
Yes.
When you delete the apps on your phone,
Mhm.
will it not let you delete something that you can't delete?
Mm-mm. You would be able to disable it, which is almost like removing. It's tossing it in an attic, but it's still taking up space.
Okay, so like with your Apple phone, like there's certain things that you have to leave on there, and like
Most of the time, you can delete all apps on Apple devices. They stop really keeping. They really stop that. Androids still have that as a concern. It's more of a concern with Androids than Apple.
because some stuff just came on my phone, and it's like
You should be able to remove most of it.
I don't even know what they are. Tips and so,
Yeah.
When I got a new phone, I got a whole bunch of apps,
Yep.
and I never hardly used any of them. Are those the native apps you talked about?
Yep.
So can I delete those?
I can't tell you. You would have to attempt to delete them. They'll let you know whether you can only disable them or not. So the question was, if you got a new phone, can you delete the apps that just appear on it? And it just depends. Some will allow you to, others, you're stuck.
It seems like every time you do an update, they throw in like games and things that you don't necessarily want.
Because that's what comes with the updates.
Right.
Then you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Hate to be harsh with that, but you just have to delete it. Yes.
Is there anywhere I can get a dictionary of basically all these apps, 9 out of 10 are free to me, so I don't really know what they are, but like, I don't know what, is there somewhere I can go, I don't wanna do which one, is there?
I would have to look at it after. I can't tell you right now. So, delete. Okay. Sorry, this is going to be the last question. So,
On an Apple, when you try to delete, you get remove app. Is that?
Same thing.
Is that uninstalling it for an app?
nope. That is just removing it from your screen. You have to uninstall, you have to actually uninstall it. So remove app doesn't fully remove it, it just removes the icon from the screen. So, deleting text messages. So, first thing, you have to open your text messages app. And then typically there would be two options. You can swipe or select individual items and delete them. But before you do that, it does give you the opportunity to also open the text message to review what's in there first before you get rid of them. However, if you want to, let's say, does anyone have a ton of undeleted text messages? So if you don't really care about the contents, you can do a bulk delete method where you just select the messages and delete them all at once without reviewing the content. So going the individual message route is it allows you to more closely inspect each message, kind of like the photos. So if there's something you want to save from a text message, you'll have the opportunity to do that. However, again, it is much slower than bulk deleting. So for example, if you have a text message that has gone back 5 years, are you going to really take the time to evaluate all 5 years of that text message?
You can't archive that.
No.
But you have to go all the way back, right?
Yep. Are you going to do that? Nope. So that's my problem with doing the individual message part, but I know some people like going through and making sure that they save like a cherished photo or video that they don't have elsewhere. Now, bulk deleting, again, much, much faster than having to delete one at a time. The problem is you don't get to see what's contained within those messages. So if you do the bulk selecting of all your text messages, you're not going to be able to see what's in there. You're just deleting them sight unseen.
Someone suggested to me that I treat it like the trash, and when I take out the trash every week, I look at the texts I got that week and just zap them.
Now, the problem is you're not everybody. The example, the best example is everybody who just raised their hand when I asked them how many they have a lot of undeleted text messages. That's the problem. Like for me, I don't deal with that particular. I'm not going to take any questions right now. The particular problem we have, I don't have, is the issue that most people here have, because I delete all my text messages. So I don't necessarily have to take the time to worry about bulk deleting stuff because I delete them as they come in. Unless it's like some important conversation, I'll keep that until the conversation ends. Now, for Apple, this is the Apple example that I can show you. So this is the text message app from Apple. Might look very similar to something you might have on your Android device. And with this text message, I could just swipe to the left and I can delete it. I don't have to look at it. I can just go like that. Now, bulk deleting, I will get this big message screen. So my text message inbox, I select the messages. I only had 2 at the time, so I couldn't necessarily show you more. Check mark both. And I press the delete button. And they're gone. Now, the Android process is very similar. I can't show you pictures because my Android tablet doesn't have text messaging. So you open your text message app, but then all you have to do is press and hold briefly on, I am a stickler. I am very anal retentive. Sorry. So what you want to do is open your text message app and then press and hold briefly on the text. And what that will do is have a blue check mark up here.
Nope.
Yes.
I can't go through everybody individually here. This is typically how it works on Androids. If you have a question, I can help look at it after. What you do next is tap on more messages once you have them selected. You don't have to press and hold. You can just quickly start going through them. And then the trash bin icon on your screen, you tap that and it will delete it. So, this is one that most of you, I'm guessing, have never dealt with. So, oh, I accidentally pressed the button. So, when you get, this is the part that will store all those photos and videos that you receive and pictures you receive in text messages. This is the hard space that they take up on your device. So just to show you where this is, at least on an iPhone, settings, general. So we went to this spot before, iPhone storage. And if you scroll downstream, it's going to show you the items that are taking up space on your device. So in this case, like the Best Buy app was taking up 800 megabytes of space. But then if I go to the text message is taking up 737 megabytes on my device. If I tap on that, it's telling me exactly what is taking up that space from messages. And then, guess what I can do from here? I can delete those individual items without deleting the text message itself. So you see here how it says 557 megabytes for photos. If I click on that, it is going to show me all of the photos and videos that are currently in any of my text messages. So if you simply delete your text message, all of that stuff goes away. But if you're not willing to delete the text messages, you can go into here and clear out the space that those photos and videos are taking up. Now, in this case, you tap on one of the individual categories, and then you can either swipe each individual item, or you can bulk delete. So you can select a certain amount of photos and then delete them all at once. However, here's the issue with this. For those with iPhones, have you ever really deleted your text messages at all? Just want to ask. Okay.
Yes.
Some. Have you done a lot of deleting of text messages recently?
Yes.
Some. So what happens is the bulk delete option will only let you select 100 at a time. So you will see on that page your 100 largest items that are stored in your text messages. You delete them all at once, guess what comes up back up?
Next 100.
The next 100. And the next 100. Problem with this, to select all the items, you have to tap. There's no select all button. So you have to tap on 100 items, delete. 100 items, delete. 100 items, delete.
But it's only deleting them from the messages. It's not
Correct.
deleting them if you save them on your.
Correct. This is only text messages.
You delete the photo and messages, it doesn't delete it from your phone, right?
If you saved and downloaded them to your device, you're safe. So the problem for me right now, I do have a large amount of space, but that's because I have a text message string. I have 3 text message strings that I never delete. 2 for my coworkers, 1 with my brother-in-law and my wife. So whatever is usually in there is never getting deleted. It's things like text messages from my parents or text messages from my cousins. That stuff I can more easily get rid of. Unfortunately for Androids, I found that it is very varied. It's not as clear cut as this is, because I know it's just settings, general, iPhone storage, and there's where I need to go. Versus Androids, you have to go through this. So you have to find the Files app on your device. Within Files, it will have something called Images. And within Images, it will have a tab called Messages. And then from there, you can open, very similarly to Apple, you can open the item and tap the trash bin icon, or do the same process for deleting text messages. Press and hold, tap the items to select.
It's in the Samsung folder.
Yep.
It's not under settings though.
No, that's what I said. It doesn't say settings at all. It's called Files. So that's a little thing, little extra thing. I had a really bad problem with that. I accidentally discovered that at one point because I was running low on space, and that took about a week because I've never done it before. And I kept accidentally deselecting everything. So like I would get like 50 items selected in, press something the wrong way, and it would deselect the 50 items, and then I'd have to go back through and do it again. But now I'm at the point where it's very easy to clear that space out. Now, somebody asked about this earlier. I think it was you, man. So you can do extra storage if you are running out of space. So extra storage things include like SD cards, USB drives, external hard drives. The only issue you want to be aware of is some of these items can't be plugged into your phone. Like my iPhone does not have an SD card slot on it, so I cannot use one on it. I have to make sure to get a special hard drive or a special USB drive that can actually plug into my device.
So you have to have the USB for if you want to dump them onto your laptop?
What you have to have, so like an iPhone has what's called, so I'm assuming we've all used a power cord to plug our phones in. You need to have that plug at the end of a USB cord, a USB drive, or an external hard drive in order for that to go into your phone, because does anyone's phone have a normal USB plug in it? Nope. They never exist now. So you have to make sure to have that right plug, otherwise the storage is useless.
Can you dump all the cloud photos onto your laptop too? To get everything off the phone?
Theoretically, yes, you can do that method. I do kind of do that one in a couple slides, but yeah. That's usually the option I go with because I don't have to go buy extra storage. I can just
what actually is going on the cloud? Most of my pictures seem to be, it's like half and half.
hold that.
You're holding a lot.
Now, there is a double-edged sword to this because you can easily move all the items off your phone to some type of very portable storage. The bad is that extra storage has to be plugged into the phone in order to access the items. Is anyone just carrying their phone around with the USB drive plugged into it? You just went on a trip and you want to show off all the photos from your USB drive. Oh no, I left the USB drive at the airport. You won't have access. So, I do go over the cloud stuff. But now, here's what my mom did. She literally went and just bought a new phone. So, why would you do something like this? There's a limit to what you can delete. Like the patron I helped yesterday, they had more than half their space gone. They wanted to add more stuff, but their phone is bare bones. So what can they do? One of the options is just literally going to get a new phone with more storage on it. Basically, again, that's what my mom ended up doing. Now, this is where your initial evaluation that you did earlier will give you a general idea of how much space you actually need on your device. So, because you really want to be able to plan ahead when you go and get a phone. You just don't want to go to, all right, I need a new phone. I'm going to go Dollar General and get the cheapest Android, prepaid Android phone they have in their store. Because that might not necessarily help you with a situation like this, like what my mom was going through with having her first grandkid. So what is guaranteed to happen with a new phone? You are going to get updates. Not a way around it. You're going to get updates constantly. You're going to potentially install more apps on the device than what you originally got. You are going to take more photos and videos. You want to get a phone that will be able to handle all of that. So I did this more with my original iPad. So my iPad was like at 50% when I had to go get a new one. So I download a ton of apps, which comes with all their own updates. And I also have to deal with all the new updates that came with just the system updates. So I sort of knew like how much space I wanted. So instead of getting something that might be halfway, that would be a little cheap, it would have been cheaper to buy something that has a little less space on it. I went with the one with the most capacity. So I think my iPad's at like 240 gigabytes worth of space. I'm currently at 60. So I paid up front a little more money, but now I have plenty of room to grow. So if all of a sudden I get a big update, it's not going to ruin the device for me. Versus if you went and got a very cheap Android phone, a big update might just ruin your whole storage situation. Yes?
So for the new phone, like, is there like with computers, I know there's storage and then there's memory. Is that the same thing?
Yep.
So
Pretty much.
What would you suggest? Higher memory and higher storage?
I would just say higher storage.
Memory doesn't.
That's not going to be a real concern.
Okay.
You just want, if you're concerned with storage, just go with the one with the most space.
Like 128, the minimum of the.
Yeah, or that's at least what I was finding is the lowest model of iPhone you can get is about 128. But again, just like that's what my mom got. She went from an iPhone that had like 60 to like 128. So she was at capacity on her phone. Well, now she has like another like 70 gigabytes worth of space without having to delete anything, which was an easier. She had to update her phone anyway, so it was an easier solution for her. Now, we've gone over stuff that is physical storage on your phone, physical external storage. There are cloud solutions that might be able to help you out as well. Now, this is an alternative solution that you don't necessarily have to delete anything for. You can just offload it to someplace else. Kind of like if you had no space left in your house for stuff, you might go buy a storage locker. Now, what this does is it stores the items online and then frees up that space on your phone for other things. Now, the two popular services that are on phones are iCloud for iPhones, and then also Google Photos that can be available on both Apple and Android devices. So there is a huge issue with Google Photos, and I think I mentioned this earlier. It shares its space with a bunch of other services on Google. So that's Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and probably the one it rivals with the most, Gmail. So you have the issue that you cannot just transfer all your photos and videos into Google Photos and not have those other services. So for example, with Google, you get about 15 gigabytes worth of free storage. Well, what happens if you transfer 15 gigabytes worth of photos into it? Well, then you're not going to be able to save any documents, and your Gmail is going to be unusable. So that's a potential issue. Yes?
This is something new in the last couple of weeks. At 11 o'clock at night when I'm ready to go to bed, I put Google or Bing on, and it won't let me get on.
That, unfortunately, I cannot answer. I can
was
talk.
told in Apple that my iPad doesn't have enough storage in it.
I can talk to you about that after. Now, the initial free storage that you get with Apple is 5 gigabytes, which in the grand scheme of things is absolutely nothing. Google Photos, you have a bit more. You have 15 gigabytes, but as I explained, it's being cannibalized as well by other services at the same time. So if you do run out of space, they very nicely offer you more. So for Google, for Apple, you can pay $1 a month for 50 gigabytes, so that's a pretty big jump. Or you can go to 200 for $3 a month, or 2 terabytes for 10. You can also do 6 terabytes for $30 a month, or 12 terabytes for $60 per month. You'll be shocked. I have had people fill up that 2 terabytes and still have storage issues. And I know somebody, this will be a good segue into it. I think you asked about this, man. So in this story might help illustrate the potential problem that you might have. So I had a patron that had an iCloud account. I can tell what was being stored in the iCloud. So we're just going to throw some numbers out there. So they had 1,000 photos saved in their iCloud account. I could see all 1,000 photos across their 3 devices. But then one device had 500 more photos. Another one had 500 different photos. Another one had 300 different photos, and another one had 100 different photos. Why did that happen? They ran out of iCloud capacity. So it could only show between those 3 devices, it could only show the 1,000 that were stored up there. So if you wanted to see the 1,001 photo on one device, you would have to physically show them the device.
The only thing with iCloud, you can't, like, when I take a Google photo on the Android, I have different folders for each occasion or whatever. When you dump them all into iCloud, it's all by date. You can't put them in folders.
Yeah, you can. They're called albums. They're
Well,
called.
on an Android, you can. Or
No, on Androids, yes, you can. They're in Google Photos. They're also called albums. Yes.
Thing that says if you have Prime, you can store your photos in Prime?
That's Amazon's storage system, but that's not as popular as these two.
But would there be then pictures on the cloud, in the cloud, pictures on Prime?
Potentially if you're using it, but I wouldn't know unless I'm looking at your device.
I haven't done it.
Now with Google, you get a smaller initial package. It's about 100 gigabytes for $2 per month, but then you go back up to 200 gigabytes for 3, 2 terabytes for 10. Nope. Wait, oh, I pressed the back button. Whoops. Now, typically with cloud systems, they all have some type of automatic backup. So this is, you take the photo, it's backed up to the cloud. You don't have to manually transfer anything. It just goes up there. But those functions have to be active in order for that particular action to occur. So for iCloud Photos, if you have iCloud Photos active, everything is online. All your photos and videos are backed up. There is no offline copy. So it's either, if you're using iCloud Photos, it's all or nothing. You don't have iCloud Photos on, or you have iCloud Photos, it's either on or off. There's no middle ground. Google Photos, if that is active, a copy of it is stored on your phone, and a copy of it is stored in Google Photos. So you have it in 2 spots.
So that's taking up much space then.
It's taking up space in 2 places, on your phone and in the cloud. But again, if that's what you want, then that's the situation you have to deal with. Now, if you want to truly free up space using Google Photos, you have to make sure to delete the offline copy. So for me, if I have Apple Photos and Google Photos, I have 1 copy in Apple, 1 copy in Google. If I want to free up space off my phone, I have to delete the Apple copy. And then I still have the copy stored in Google. Now, it is important. Does anyone not know if they have their photos back up on right now?
I didn't, I just found out it was, turned it on.
Yep. Okay. So, for iCloud Photos, it's going to mention the number of photos on your iCloud screen if it's active, or Google Photos, you're going to see the word backup complete. So for iCloud Photos, you go to Settings, click on your name, click on the word iCloud, and go to the section called Save to iCloud, and you are going to see a little box called Photos. Can anybody see what mine says? Well, guess what I don't have active on my phone? iCloud Photos. So all my photos are just on my phone. They're not in the cloud. But if it was active, this would say something like 2,000 or 75. It's going to tell you the number of photos in there. Nope, you went too far. You went too far. Yeah, right there.
Is this like?
You have 31,000 photos stored in your iCloud. You have to click on iCloud. Yep, just follow the instructions. Now with Google Photos, yes.
Mine says, there are 753 photos.
Yep.
It says saving is paused.
Probably because you're out of space.
Yeah.
Either you're out of space or you temporarily paused it because you don't want any more stored up there.
No new items.
Yep. So it's probably, I'm guessing you're out of space. So Google Photos. So you open Google Photos, you click on your little icon. It's usually in the top right corner. And then underneath it, you're going to see a section called with the word backup, and it's either going to say backup is complete or backup. In my case, I have my backup turned off. Now, the thing with Google Photos that I didn't mention is you can actually still say, unlike Apple, which I said is all or nothing, either everything's on your phone or everything's in the cloud. Google, you can turn the automatic backup off, but still add things into the cloud, but you would have to do it individually. So like if I take a photo of you guys right now, it's not going to go into Google Photos, but I can press a button and add it to Google Photos whenever I want. So that is it. Well, we actually did an hour and a half. So here is our contact information. So if you wanted to get a hold of us for anything or book an appointment, our information is on screen. Yes.
It's more trouble than it's worth on the Android, but if I had an appointment, I think there's an easier way. Is that something I could?
Yeah.
Yeah, were we supposed to learn how to clear the cache?
No, because
No,
that's
that
not
was
one.
in-
That's not one of the major things that I would at
I
least.
thought it was in the write-up.
Nope.
I think they put a description in it, yeah.
Nope.
Is there a website and look to see what classes are being offered?
You go to the library website. That's what that is. The glare